Thoughtful or sad, thoughtful. Haha, got him. Got him. Welcome to another Project Feline live stream with your host, Project Feline. We're going to be doing some stuff. Yes, I've found a new body. Looks very close to the old one, except this new body has neck problems. So that ain't good. So I don't know how long I'm going to go, because my new body's neck has just been completely killing me. So we'll see how far we go. Anyway, let's talk about stuff, all right? So, how are we all doing, by the way? I should check how are you guys doing before I show you how Gabi's doing. How are you doing? I hope I didn't spook you too bad. It is supposed to be a spooky day. All right. I lied. It's not Halloween. Halloween was yesterday. Checkmate. No, it was yesterday for me. It's probably, I think, Halloween now for the American folk. For the folks in North America, or Northern Hemisphere folk, those guys. So, hope you stay safe out there. You know what's even safer? Staying in here, watching me do work on my 3D model. So, I did some armor work. I'll show you how that's going. We're not gonna be doing armor today, but I'll show you how that went. Let me just turn off Gabi. Oh, thanks so much, Terra Nation, for the $10. That is awesome. Now I can afford to buy candy and spook the kids. Or I could eat it myself, which sounds like a better idea now that I say that out loud. But thanks so much, man. So here's how the armor turned out. You guys can see my screen, right? Cool. All right, just needed to make sure. Let me move the I'll move the light around so you guys can see. So this is how it came out with doing the textures and everything. There was actually an issue with the textures where I had some of the line work on the wrong layer. And there's still like there's like one problem here where the line thickness changes because I don't have any lines on this edge, but I can fix that pretty easy later on. But I've got lines for most of it. I would like to go over this one more time, if I get time to just vary the thickness a little. I think that's probably the only thing it needs, just a bit more variability. But all the lines are in place, and that's how it's looking. It's a bit more streamlined than the old armor design, but it still retains those core pieces that kind of make it what it is. So it's got like the glowy vents, which are going to look more glowy in engine. I just don't have any post-processing effects in Blender at the moment. The colors are all good. The shadow color and everything is like the way I want. The only thing I haven't done, because the thing is, because I want to make a few more adjustments to the line stuff, because then what I'm going to do later is I'm going to like try and move these. Like if I try and move these over the leg now, you'll see that they aren't going to fit perfectly. That's because I need to like bend. I need to like asymmetrize it and like bend bits of it to fit the bend of the leg. And I want to do that at the last possible moment. So you can see here, like the leg isn't perfectly straight, it like curves. So I'll need to do that with the armor as well. But yeah, there's still a bit of touching up, and I want to do that at like the very end. But I just want the bits in symmetry as close as I can get them. But today, we're going to be doing something a bit more complicated and not fun, but well, I mean, I don't know, maybe it'll be fun, I don't know. We're gonna be doing custom normals. Now, some of you know what that means, some of you do not. Let me show you in this example what that means. So you see when I move this light around, one half of her face is very glitchy, the other half is slightly less glitchy. So if I turn off the hair and rotate this light, you can see that the shadows play a lot nicer on one side than they do the other. Now, there's a few things going on with that. I don't know in what order I'll bring those up, but I'll show you what I've been doing and what difficulties I've been having. So I started working on the head to get custom normals, and you'll notice the head shape is symmetrical, but you'll notice that on one side the lighting looks really glitched and the other side it looks weirdly smooth. So the normals are going to be how we control lighting. It's basically when you have a face in a 3D program. I could probably show you actually with a sphere, I can just show you right straight up. So if I get a sphere like this guy, the normals are all split on this, and we can actually see what the normals look like if we open this little guy. So all those pink lines are the normals, but we can actually manipulate and move these around. So if I rotate some of these normals, you can see that the sphere actually isn't changing. The geometry is the exact same, but the way it's lit will change. And if you wanted to, let's say I took all this and shaded it smooth, so that instead of splitting the normal, it combines them into one line, and that's what makes it shade smooth. So if I can reset those, I think. I can also flip them to go inside, and what that'll do is it'll shade the sphere on the inside like this, where it's like inside out, which we can do with this too if we wanted. So if I go recalculate inside, you can see Gabi is now flipped around. So the geometry is the exact same, it's just changing what side it's gonna light the polygons. So that's basically what it does. Now the thing with normals is you usually don't think about these, but this is another one of those times where, because of the specific style, we have to like bend the rules and touch the normals and do things that you normally don't do, that you normally shouldn't do. Normally you shouldn't have to worry about normals. You can just mark edges as sharp and smooth, and that's like, you call it a day. But because it's the anime style, we gotta pay attention to the normals. And I've had a few setbacks with it that I'll get into in just a moment. But what I've been trying to do at the moment with Gabi's head, because the head is like gonna be the most complicated, so I did a bit of playing around. I'm probably gonna have to redo some of this, but I was just playing around the other afternoon with the normals. I'm trying to make them long enough for you to see them, but not too long. So you can see that what I've tried to do just on the one side of the face is that I've grouped up normals to face different directions. So the normals on this side, for instance, on a cheek, face backwards, like they face towards this way. If I were to reset them, that's how they normally look. That's how the normals normally look. But if I rotate all the ones on the side to face one direction like this, then you get sort of, the shadow is all gonna be the same shape throughout here. And then I've got the normals on the front side of the face facing like more forwards, and then bits on the eye facing a slightly different direction. And if we add it with the cell shader on, this isn't perfect yet, but if you do it a certain way, with the topology the certain way, you can essentially get the shadows to snap to designated zones on the face. Now, not everyone likes that. So I've read lots of debates in like NPR forums of people who like snapping shadows, people who don't. I'm gonna have them snap because Guilty Gear has them snap. I used to not want them to snap in my old model, but it looks weird when they don't. It actually does look weirder when they don't snap on this type of style. So I want them to snap to these areas. Now I haven't quite got it fully going yet, but one area I like is that just above the eye for that eyebrow area, I've managed to put that in shadow, and the side of the cheek as well, because that's how I would actually draw them if I was going to draw this out. That's exactly where I would put the shadow on the drawing. So I'm pretty happy that with the cheek area mainly, like it kind of better shows what I'm trying to do. However, there's some issues. One of which is that there's a certain shading technique that I've kind of almost got, but not quite. There's a technique called I think it's called the Rembrandt triangle, and this isn't something that's in every Guilty Gear model, but it's pretty prominent. It's some photography. It's a photography thing, but it has an analog in anime as well, and that's this thing where if you look at a photo of someone, they have like that kind of triangle shape underneath their eye. So that's what I've kind of tried to do. But when I was modeling the head, I hadn't touched the normals until like a few days ago. So when I was modeling the head, I was doing the best I could to model in the triangle, but because I didn't know how it would work with the normals, I was kind of going in blind. So I didn't know exactly how it would look. And now I have an idea. So I think what I'm gonna have to do, I'm not sure what I'm gonna start with, but I know at some point, I'm gonna have to like remodel just the cheek area here to have the triangle lead the way I want. Because the way I want it to work is I want edges going up to the nose to create this, I'll see if I can probably draw it with an annotation. That might be easier. Because it doesn't quite do what I want. What I would like it to do is, if I get the annotation, I want the shadow to like go in this area and have the polygons follow this flow. That's what I want. Oh. So I need something like that going on, but I don't quite have it. It's close, but not quite. It's similar, but it's a little off still, and I'm not going to be able, because what I would like to happen is I would love to have sort of this area, if I can get it, you know, if I can get the light at a certain angle, I would want this whole area in shadow. But because of how I've modeled it with the bridge of the nose, I can't have the shadow go across like that. I can have it go to certain pieces, like right here. It'll fill in this part, but it won't bridge it over into the middle at all. And I've noticed that for some of the newer Guilty Gear models, they all have this ridge modeled in, where it's like a W shape. And I don't quite have that. Some of the older models don't have it, I don't believe, but that's something I do want. I want there to be like this sort of W-shaped shadow. And with mine, you can kind of see how it won't quite work if you look at how the topology is. But considering I went in completely blind, it's not so bad. Not terrible. But if I go, I think I do have an actual scene light in here that I've set up, which I can rotate. So at the moment, you can kind of see, yeah, it will go kind of up. And then if I try and rotate it into shadow, I don't think that'll work actually. Like if I try and rotate the light this way, I'm not even sure if I can get that kind of, I don't know. I actually don't know if I can even get that type of shadow. I think it just has the light there, which is cool. I like it sort of on this side of the eye, but on the side with the nose, I'm not liking how that's, I'm not a fan of how that's sort of going. So that's one issue. The other issue is you're probably noticing that on the other side of the face, the normals are completely weird and wacky, especially for the body. It's a little broken. I know how to fix some of that, but I've spent the last hour sitting here researching how to customize normals and flip them, because I know that it's possible, because I've done it before when I was making the robot model and when I was making Gabi's first model. I could have sworn that I was able to customize normals and flip them. But I've been digging through forums, and I don't think it's actually, like, everyone's saying it is impossible and you can't do it. So I'll show you. I was reading through this. I'll show you what I was reading. Because the mirror modifier kind of breaks the normals on the other side. So every time I turn it off or on, or if I like change like anything that's in this modifier panel, the normals will get recalculated on the other side and it'll be completely wrong. So it won't copy those custom normals. But I know that there's a way to do it because I've done it before, but I can't remember how I did it. But I know I did, because I know myself well enough to know that I would have not bothered hand doing them on both sides. I know that I'm not like, I wouldn't do that. I knew I would have figured out a way to get around it. But because it was a while ago, I don't remember how I did it. And it looks like it doesn't seem like anyone really knows how to do it. So, because I've been reading through all this, and I came across a bug report on Blender. It might have been here. You know, someone else has got the same problem as me, and it was reported as a bug in the mirror modifier 8 years ago. So someone said, hey, you know, when you use the mirror modifier, the normals don't mirror. And instead of actually fixing it, they just said, oh no, that's not a bug, that's a limitation. and it's now since been archived, and there is no plan to make it work, even though I remember doing it somehow. So I don't know, that's a bit of a weird roadblock I didn't think I'd have, because I know I've solved this problem before, but I for the life of me cannot remember how I did it. Because I went and I opened up Gabi's model from the old one, and the normals are the exact same on both sides, and they're customized. And I'm like, how did I do that? And I don't remember. So I'm sure it'll come to me at some point. So at the moment, I'm just gonna put up with having the normals be weird on the right side, because I know that I will eventually remember how, but I cannot remember now for the life of me how I did it. But it looks like no matter where I go, no one else seems to know either. So it's, I don't know. But I feel like if I can at least get them on one side, I don't know, I feel like that's at least a start. So it's going to take me too long to try and troubleshoot that. So I'm just going to continue on with how I was and get the normals going on the one side. And I know that there is a way to mirror them. I just don't remember how, but I know there is a way, because yeah, there's no way I would have not mirrored them. There's no way I would have done that. It would have taken way too long. So with that in mind, I was contemplating whether to continue on the face. The thing is that the body is a bit easier than the face, because the face, you have to really be very careful and deliberate about everything, and I'm not really happy with how the topology is all working there. And you guys have seen plenty of modeling, so I was thinking I would go onto the body and get the normals going there, because for the most part, the body is, you don't need a lot of custom normals on the body, but there are a few places where I want to implore them, mainly on the arm and the knee. But apart from those areas, we're going to be doing a more simple way to get the normals to be a bit smoother. Because at the moment, if I just rotate this light around, oh, it's not. No, I need this light. So it's a bit glitched in the middle. But if I was to rotate this light around, you can see that over Gabi's like arms and legs. Oh, where's the render view? There we go. So if I rotate her around like with the light like this, you can see that there's a few instances where the shadows are, you know, they're a little jank, and I want to smooth them out a lot. And there's a few ways to do that. According to the Arc Systems documentation, there is like 3 ways to modify or to influence normals, and I believe one of them is to manually do them, which is what I'm doing for the face. And then I think the other one is data transfer. And then the third one is like changing the topology, which is sort of part of all of it, I guess. Like you're doing that all the time. Now, there is something that I've just remembered that I haven't done that I might need to do. So I'll make a copy of this before I mess it up. Because the thing with the Arc System models that I first was a bit perplexed by is that all of their models are triangulated. But not everywhere. Only in certain... Well, mostly, but except in a few areas, they're triangulated. And I didn't know why at first, but I think it has to do with the normals. So what I might do... We'll see how it looks... Because I don't want to ruin what I've got. So I just got to carefully see if I triangulate the body, because I just want to focus on the body at the moment. If I do that, because I think that might give us more control over the normals. Because I've looked at, I've opened up one of the Arc System models and I've tried to like turn it to quads, and the normals, like, they're a bit wigglier, if that makes sense. And I think that's essentially what it is we're trying to do, is essentially get rid of the wiggle in the shadows. Which, now that I say that out loud, it sounds so funny. I'm thinking about the Wiggles TV show, and I'm picturing one of them hiding in the shadows. But I'm not going to think about the Wiggles. Don't think about the Wiggles. We just want to remove the wiggly shadows. That's it. So what I'm going to do is, the normals on the body are kind of screwed up anyway, so I'm going to reset the body normals. And I know on the mirror modifier it's going to be jank, but that's something I'll get to later. And then I want to see what happens if I triangulate just the body. I don't know if that'll ruin the UV map. It shouldn't. But I'm curious what it'll... Yeah, okay, so the UV map's fine. I'm just curious what it'll do to the shadows. So if we look at... Yeah, you can kind of see it, like, already, even without me changing the normals. You can see that the wiggle is a bit more stable with the triangles on it. Especially around... like, let's look at the leg and see how it looks. Leg doesn't make much of a difference, but on the arm, it does seem to make a... Seems to change it quite a bit. Oh, there we go, sorry. Yeah, so you can see that the shadows kind of... They kind of recede further back with triangles. And then here especially, it curves up more there, which is cool. So we'll start with that. And then we will... Now it looks like a real Arc System model now, I guess. And then we will... reason why I'm only doing this on the body and not the face is because the face is sort of... The topology, you gotta be a bit more careful. I think the only thing I would triangulate would be maybe the hair a bit. Like if I was to triangulate that, you can see that the shadows on like just the scalp, those will kind of be a bit better, but I'm not sure if I want to like bother with that today. But if just to show you a demonstration with a more spherical shape, if I was to triangulate those, you can see that we can kind of control more of like how those shadows sit. And even here it looks a bit smoother, which is cool. But anyway, we're not going to focus on the head. We'll do the body first. It'll be a bit simpler. And there's another thing I need to get out. Now, some of you might recognize this, some of you might not. But I'm going to whip out an old version of the model from when I started making this. So I'm just gonna get this out, put it in the folder. Oh, where have I? Oh, there it is. And I'll rotate the light so that we can see what we're doing. So on this side, this is the first like base mesh I did. And what I'm thinking to do is I want to take the normals from the body of this low poly version and give them to this version with some alterations. I'm probably going to keep... It's mainly for the legs and like the lower torso. I'm probably gonna keep... The upper torso actually isn't too bad. I might just leave those as they were. And then the hands I'll leave... I'll have those to the defaults. But this will give us a starting point, because the shape is a lot simpler, and like especially around the legs, the shadows are a lot smoother on the low poly one, and I want those smooth leg shadows on the high poly one as well. So I believe there's a modifier that'll help us do that. Now, before I continue, I should mention I don't know what it was, but this morning I came across this like 6-hour video series about normal editing, and I was skimming through bits of it. I was reading the paper on it. I don't know, maybe some of you have seen it. I'll see if I can find it for those that maybe might know what I'm talking about. I think if you search like Blender custom normals, it'll come up as a result. And it turns out normal editing can get very complicated, but for those that haven't, I'll just try and find it. I believe it's... Oh, I don't know if I can find it now. Oh, here we go. So there's this dude who has... Oh, it's gonna... Oh yeah, so ad blocker's all gone now. So I've been getting non-stop KFC and Sportsbet ads and Wix ads all the time. So hopefully that's helping out the creators. But I was skimming through this dude's videos, and there's, I don't know, I think there's like 9 parts, and each of them are like 40 minutes, and it can get very complicated. But I want to just make clear that what this guy is doing is not what I'm trying to do, because a lot of the things that this guy will show in his normal editing stuff, firstly, that's not how you topologize an anime face, and he's trying to use an anime face as an example, but I don't know, I guess this, if you wanted to use this in-game, it's not gonna work. So what this guy's gone and done, just from skimming through it, I could tell this isn't what I was wanting to do, just by sort of looking at the basic steps. Because what this guy's doing is, he's trying to make something where it will have like perfect normals, and they will deform perfectly too, using modifiers. Now the problem that I have with that is that I can't use modifiers in Unreal, because the modifiers have to bake and apply before you export it. So for those that might have seen this and think that that's what I'm trying to do, I want to point out that no, I'm not doing it this way, because this only works if you stay in Blender. If you try and take this out to a game engine, this won't work. Having it where the normals are constantly being recalculated, it's not going to work in a game engine. So I'm not going to be doing it like this. However, the way I've got instead, because the thing I'm not sure about is how it'll deform. But it looks like I've been studying the Guilty Gear models, and it looks like they have that issue too. So I figured, hey, if they have that problem and they were fine shipping it, then maybe that's not a huge deal. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Because, yeah, there's going to be probably lots of issues with skinning and with normals. And there are ways in Blender to get around that, but if you want to take this to Unreal, like that's ultimately the limit of like anything you can do, it has to work on Unreal, otherwise there's no point. And things like having constant, like, I think the guy had something where he was using a modifier to like recalculate the normals with shape keys and stuff, which is not gonna, like, you can't change the normals on a model in real time in Unreal. Or maybe you can, but if you can, you probably shouldn't, because it's like it's expensive computationally. So I'm gonna avoid that stuff. I'm not gonna do that. Now there is a, where is it? I think it's called data transfer. There we go. So I'm gonna select the humanoid low poly. Oh no, that's vertex group. So I don't know if we'll see a different, I think I have to click on this and then turn this on. So you'll start to see, and we're only gonna focus on our left side, because again, the mirror stuff I'm gonna need more time to figure that out. Now, oh, there we go. See the shadows here, you see what I mean? So let me turn off the, oh yeah, I turned my time-lapse tool on. Have I tried the goo engine? No, I haven't. I think I haven't watched all of Dylan Goo stuff. I think I watched like one, and I could tell that it isn't quite, because it isn't exactly what I want. It sort of gets it close enough, but it's not exactly what I want. I'm just sticking strictly to the Arc Systems documentation, because I find that the more I try and deviate from it and use custom plugins and stuff, the worse it ends up. So I'm just sticking to like the basics. So now that, okay, because I just gotta check stuff. I gotta mess around a little bit. So let's look at how, can I turn the wireframe off? I just want to see, because I know that there's a few different options that will change how the normals will transfer over. And for some reason, oh, there we go. Because there's a certain setting it needs to be on. There we go. So you can see now, the normals for the body are a lot smoother because they're using the normals from this version. Now we don't want it all like that, because you can see the hand is cursed. But most of it's all right. Like, it'll give us a starting point, and it's gonna like replace it on the head, which I don't want. So I might, yeah. So what I might do, I might separate the head for the moment. We're gonna cut off her head. Just for now, because I don't want, or we might be able to actually, no, actually we might be able to mask it. I might not need to. Yeah, I think if we use a vertex group, I can just mask off So if I select everything, remove... Oh, oops. I don't want to remove it from the vertex group. I just want to deselect the head. And then I want to make sure the neck is selected. I think we can do that. And then I'll just make a vertex group just with the body on it. And then I will apply the modifier to the vertex group. So I'll make a new group. We'll call this body. And assign. I think that's what it does, but we'll see. If I type body, yeah, there we go. It leaves the head alone and just does the body. Cool. All right. So I will apply that modifier. Now, yeah, if you see weird symmetry stuff, please. I know it's a problem. That's something I will get to later because I've spent literally an hour searching how to do it, and like no one has an answer. I saw some Reddit post where someone said it was the UVs, which is rubbish, complete rubbish. So yeah, it's a difficult problem, but that's something I'll do at the end. I just want to get it on one side, and then I do have an idea on how I might do it, but it has to be at the last step. The way I think will work. And I don't know if this is what I did last time, but I think what I might have to do is I like turn off the mirror, copy this over, and then like flip it and then remerge it to the body. I think that might work. It might not, but that's I need to have everything ready first before I try that. So, the normals, let's just focus on the left side. And in fact, I'll turn off mirror so that we're not worried about the other side. So the head normal, and again, I'm going to have to redo the cheek anyway. So if I accidentally overwrite them, I'm not too worried because it was actually fun to do the head for that little bit. So I'm not too worried if that gets erased. But what I am worried about is the hand is completely, like you can see I've got the normals turned on and all the normals are facing the wrong way on the hand. So I'm going to reset the normals on the hand. And I think I'll just leave the hand alone because that actually isn't, like that's pretty all right. Like I don't remember there being any weird problems with the hand. It looks, it looks decent. I reckon it's fine. The arm, however, this is where I kind of want to take a bit more control over the arm. Because what I've noticed with the Guilty Gear models is that they will have a very aggressive shadow on this tendon, this thing. And that's what I've got that modeled in, but I want the normals to reflect that. So we're going to give that a shot. Kingdom Hikari says, I saw someone editing the normal bake normal texture and edit in Photoshop. I've looked into that too. We're not going to do that. With normal maps and stuff. I think I've had that suggested a lot to just make a normal map, but we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it that way. We're going to do exactly what Arc System Works does, which is this. They don't use normal maps, so neither will we. So, I just gotta I think I just want this top row, because I'm just looking at where the edges are. I want this area. I want to like... Now, the way I'm going to do it, I don't know if it's the best way, but this... Because I think with Arc System Works, they use like completely different software anyway. So their way of doing it will not be exact, but we can, try and do it as close as we can in Blender. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy the vector of one of these, because I want these all kind of facing the same way. This is what I was doing for the face, and it worked pretty alright. And then I'm going to paste the vector, and you can start to see what I mean. This is like what I want. We got this very sharp bit of lighting. And I might rotate it a little. So if I go rotate, we can kind of, I might... Is there a way I can lower the opacity for the wireframe? I hope there is, because I'd like to be able to see the light a little better. Or maybe, is there... I know that there's a way to... I want to accentuate the shading because I'm having a bit of a tough time seeing it. Oh yeah, I'll turn on shadow and cavity. That should give me a... And then I'll change the material just to something a bit... Yeah, like this. Now I can see a bit nicer. So I don't know exactly what angle that should be, but I want the bits on the arm facing up. So I'm going to copy this vector, and that's basically how I'm rolling. I think this is what I did on Gabi's old model as well, but I didn't have the topology to take advantage of it. But now I do. And it means I can kind of take vectors I like, copy them, and then paste them to a group to get them to go the way I want. Now that isn't too great. I think I need to smooth it out a bit. Rotate. I remember doing this as well for the robot. I think that's what I also did there. I think I might change to face mode and select the faces. For some reason though, this because I want those sort of facing up, and then I want this to sort of start tapering to the side. But I want there to be a bias for whatever's at the low, whatever's under the arm, I want there to be mostly shadow, and on the top it's mostly light. So I don't want it to be a smooth gradient, I want there to be a bit of bias, where the shadows will stick to the side of the arm. That's what I want. So that's what doing this, having the normals point this way, that's what that'll do. So if I then rotate this, like that, we start to sort of smooth it out a bit. Now, I haven't done a great job at this little area. It's a bit sharp. I think there is a smooth button, so I'll try that. Yeah, no, I've made it an edge that's a bit too sharp. I'll go back to vertex mode, and I'll take these and smooth them. I think that's what I need. Or maybe it's because... Hold on, let me turn off... Oh, I had shadow... Oh, no, I had shadow turned on. That was it. I just want... Okay, I thought I needed shadow and cavity turned on, but I just want cavity turned on. Which should just... It'll just shade in... It'll basically add ambient occlusion, so I can see the cavities better. But I didn't want... Shadow is actually trying to draw shadows over it, which I don't really want to look at the moment. So... Let's sort of get that going. Alright. Let's do the bottom. That should be pretty easy. So I'll just take this, copy this normal direction from the bottom of the arm, and then apply it to anything underneath this tendon. And we'll see how that looks, and then we can just sort of smooth it out from there. Oh, no, no. We're not auto-smoothing. No, 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 no. No auto-smooth. That's that... Yes, for normal models, yeah. But for anime models, no, no, no. You have to go through this if you want it to look right. Paste. All right. It's a bit obtuse. So let's take some of these outer edge ones and we'll sort of smooth them out. Oh yeah, actually the smooth button is not bad. I'm liking it. I might take these ones on the side and smooth those out a bit. Maybe I'll reset these ones. I think I'll leave them as they were. No, I don't. I think I'll reset the ones on the side, on that side. You see, okay, this is what I mean. You see this? Check that out. Because then if I get the cell shader, and if I get the light to rotate the way I want, it's not... Okay, we're gonna have to adjust it a bit. But you can see, when we have the light from there, this the shadow rises to this, which that's what I want. What I don't want though is when I rotate the shadow like this, I'm not vibing that awfully too much. So I might have to smooth out these or reset them maybe, I don't know. Maybe smooth them. I don't know, because maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll just smooth that out because I don't want there to be this sort of sharp line. Maybe for these two, I'll smooth these a little. I think the shoulders are mostly alright. Yeah, the shoulders look good. They look a lot smoother than they were a few minutes ago. We might have to look at this back area, like this. We'll have to look at that. But I just want to focus on the forearm for the moment. Okay, what if I take the light and shine it this way? I might strengthen it a bit, because I've got to... If I double the strengthness, there we go. I can see a bit more. Alright. But yeah, so that's all the weird topology stuff that I was doing a few weeks ago. This is where it starts to kind of become important, which... It's probably really hard to watch when I was doing that. So for those that have stuck around this long, I hope that it's sort of making some sense of what I was trying to go for, what it leads to. So I remember that, like, especially this area, because now that I've got these vertices in these exact spots, I can make the shadows do things, which you wouldn't be able to do if you had topologized it different. So when I was sort of rambling about how, like, no, it has to be like this for like shading and stuff, this is kind of what it meant. So I know it took a long time to pay off, but that's kind of what that's sort of the level of kind of forward thinking you kind of have to do. And it was really hard to explain because obviously I hadn't gotten up to this bit yet at that time. But now, even for me, it's starting to kind of make sense the more I go. Because I'll like read it and I kind of get, like, I'll read the docs on how it's done and then I'll think, oh yeah, I kind of get it. But I won't really get it until I do it. And that's kind of where it starts to click. For me, anyway. I don't want the normals. Okay, I want to rotate these a little. They're facing kind of at a weird angle. So I want to, like, bring them like there a bit. Yeah. And then with these, I want them to kind of face sort of directly down. Maybe these I'll smooth. Yeah. So let's see how that looks with the... Okay, it looks a little aggressive, so I might smooth out some of these, because you don't want it too aggressive for certain bits. The head is gonna be mainly where it's like very, very, very strong. Now I think for these bits, I do want there to sort of be more shadows in these areas. So I might copy a vector and apply it to this part of the elbow. To see if I can create a cool shadow there. Ooh, interesting. So I might have to rotate that. So yeah, I'm still kind of figuring out the gist of which way they need to face. So I'm just kind of playing with it. Trial and error, seeing what works and what doesn't. It's a bit it's a little messy on this side. I just want to, because I'm just looking at it here and I can see like the kind of, you can see it. It's this sort of pinching of the shadows. So I want to try and make sure it isn't, I haven't gone like too extreme. So I might maybe take these and paste. Okay, maybe that's more like it. Or, I don't know. How does that look with the... I mean, the light on the top here looks great. I like how that looks. It's very smooth. Okay, we can start to... Okay, we can start to see some issues now if I rotate it like this. So I just got to make sure that I work that out. So it takes a bit of trial and error. I wonder... Well, with these, if I just reset these ones, I'm curious how it looks normally. Alright, that's how it... Okay, so I think what I need to do is I need to take this vector and paste it along here. And then this vector and paste it along the bottom half to be in shadow. Oh, except not on that vertice. And then with these you can... do I want it to come... I don't think I want it to come up like that. That's I'm not a big fan of, so I want to make these both the same. That's a bit better. It's a bit smoother. I don't know, maybe this topology here might not be most ideal. Yeah, that might be a bit tricky actually, because there were some other models I was looking at, and they had a lot more edge loops around the elbow, and I was like, huh, I don't need all that. But you can kind of see that it is following the shape of these. But actually, that's not so bad actually. Like when I look at it from a distance, that's kind of how I would think to draw it. Having it, maybe I just need to bring this shadow up a little. I think I just need to smooth this out. Like that. But maybe not as aggressively, like, if I like rotate it a little to the side. So yeah, it's a lot of like, for this bit, I'm not gonna do this for everything, but just, actually this, I like that. I like how that's looking. I just don't like it pinching in this little area. That's what I'm not a big fan of. What is it? Okay, well you can actually, yeah, you can kind of see, because that's what it looks like rendered, and that's how it looks. You can see that there's this triangle pinching there, kind of causing that. So I might just take these and reset those and see how that looks. And then try and be maybe just more careful about how these will get used. It's just that kind of pinching. That's the only thing. But yeah, so we're not going to do this everywhere. It's just for these, just for the kind of forearm, I guess. And well, yeah, not even the hand. The hand, I reckon maybe we might adjust the palm, because I know that might have some shadow glitches. I can just see already from this shady, with this setting on, I can see where it's going to be pinching. So we might just smooth out the hand, but the fingers look good. You can see the fingers are very smooth. The palm, maybe we could use a little bit of work on it. And then I just wanted to make sure we had this sort of sharp pinching shadow here. But yeah, the elbow, this on this side, it's a bit wonky, a bit strange. I was wanting it to kind of match the other side, but maybe I just need to smooth these a lot. Okay, that's a bit nicer now. But I wanted the whole top to kind of have the same look. So I wanted these to kind of look, yeah, there we go. I just want to remove that little bit of, there's like a little sort of line where you can kind of see the shadows, but I wanted the arms to look a bit sort of flattened, if like the forearm. Kind of like this, you can sort of see it. It's just the transition to the rest of it is not amazing. So I'll just, maybe just select everything around the elbow and just smooth those out. Oh, not like that. No, that's how you not do it. So if I reset these, yeah, no, not reset. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to smooth. Okay, that transition's a bit nicer now. And if we look at it with this, yeah, that's nicer. Yeah. Because before it was a bit more jittery. So let's look at it from here. We still got a bit of jitters along this ridge. So let's get that sorted out. I think I know why. It's these faces. There we go. That's a bit nicer. Probably be hard to get it exactly perfect, but I'm just going to try the best I can. Just to kind of get it to look smooth. Hey, there we go. Like that. Now for the palm, because I want to make sure I remember that. I think I kind of just want to sort of even it a bit. Make it look flatter, but not actually make it flatter with the model, if that makes sense. So what I would think to do, it's mainly this area. Just with the top half. I just want to kind of take those and kind of like that. You can see now it's a bit smoother. That's sort of what I mean. So can I rotate the light to show you? So yeah, now the shadow kind of snaps into the palm there, which is cool. I might also adjust the sort of bottom half as well. I don't know if those should be rotated the same. Maybe, we'll try it. Yeah, you see there? Now the shadow kind of stays on this sort of rim, which is cool. If we look at it with just this, yeah, you can kind of see now. I think it's just sort of this area now that's like a bit off. So I wonder what I can do. Because I don't want it to, I gotta be careful here. I don't want it to match too close with the rest of the palm. Maybe if I take these and just smooth them out. I don't know if smoothing will work if it's like, if the vectors are default. Oh, they do. Okay, they do something. Because I just want to see what that'll look like. Okay. I might leave these alone. I think it's just this set of edges I want to smooth. Yeah, like that. Okay, maybe not like that. But that's, you know, it's a bit nicer. Because now the entire palm here will sort of stay one shade. As for the thumb, I don't know. I don't know if I want it to follow that strict. But if I take the light and kind of shine it around, you can see that, yeah, because the thing that was kind of distracting me was just the amount of glitchiness sort of in the palm, but now it's sort of, it's very decisive about whether it's in shadow or not, which is, I like that. So, what should I work on next? Because I reckon what I'll do is I'll sort of go over bits, and then I'll like come back to certain parts later. Just because I think if I stare at one thing too long, I'm gonna go crazy. Mr. Backlashes, I came in late. What's the deal with the white mannequin model? So we are using that to... We have transferred the normals from this low poly version to the high poly. I think in the documentation they call that a proxy mesh, I think. So this was actually Gabi's model from maybe like 6-7 weeks ago of how it looked. That's where I started from, and I'm glad I kept that, because I think what you'd normally have to do if you wanted to take sort of the smooth shading of normals and apply them to a high poly one, I think what a lot of, I was reading on the ArcSys documentation, and what they do for the costumes, they'll make like big primitive proxy meshes around the character. Like if they have pants, they'll model these big cylinders around the pants, and then they'll like apply normals. And when I was looking at that, I thought, oh, well, what if I just kept my low poly version and brought it back later, so that I wouldn't have to model big cylinders around stuff. I could use the thing that's already pretty, you know, primitive enough and use that as a proxy mesh. So that's what I've done. Let's see how it looks on the leg, because I haven't looked at the leg yet. Where's my light? The leg is not bad. I might not even have to do anything, because it's got that kind of shadow where the kneecap is, which is cool. And then the back is very smooth. So for reference, if I was to reset these, or I'll save first. If I was to reset these, it would actually looks pretty similar. So I wasn't too far off. You can see that there's a bit more jaggies and wigglies. Like, yeah, you can see here, we've got this like weird sort of popping going on. But if I changed that back to what it was and try to rotate the light the same angle, we wouldn't get that. Because the normals are smoother, because it's using the normals from the low poly legs. So that's how we get that going. I might not actually have to touch the legs. I reckon they look fine. Well, I guess the only thing is sort of the top half of the body. I'm not really too thrilled on the shadows. Because it was pretty good before, just for this top bit. But I gotta be careful. I want to just take the normals from the singlet and just reset those. Happy Halloween. Thanks, Jake Fool. Because here's the thing. I've never celebrated Halloween, so I don't know. To me, it's just another day. But I'm curious, how many of you celebrate it? What do you guys typically do? How much effort do you spend on a costume? See, I don't know, because I've never done it. OmniX, just like, is literally me for real. He doesn't do it either. Yeah. I remember, this is a bit of a funny story, but when I remember I wanted to, this was like back when I was 7, I think. I really wanted to, but my mum had the most interesting reason to discourage me from participating. Because we're in Australia, and she grew up in like the States, and I actually don't know if this is true, but she would always tell me that Australians celebrating Halloween is stupid because it's an American holiday. That was like her reason all the time, and eventually I just kind of like, I kind of didn't want to do, like, I got so old that I didn't even want to do it anymore, and I started just sort of getting like just annoyed by, you know, I'd go to the shops and they would have all the skeletons out in September. That's like sort of how I know that it's close, when they start doing that. And that's sort of the only kind of interaction I have with Halloween. But I actually never verified if she was telling the truth, whether it is just an American thing or not. Is Halloween... I don't want caps lock on. Is Halloween an American or it's like Northern Hemisphere maybe is what she meant. But I'm gonna find out. Oh, okay, well maybe she might have been really wrong, because according to this, it's a Europe. It started in Europe. Okay. And then the immigrants brought it to North America. So, my mum might have been wrong. I don't know, I'm curious where it came from though. But this is a normal map. This is a custom normal stream. So, we can research Halloween another time. But Omniac, I mean, I know, like, it does feel like an American thing, you know? For some reason, I don't know what it is, but whenever anyone says the word Halloween, I don't think of America, just America, but I think specifically of, like, 1982 America, like, that time period. With, like, that generation. What do they call them? They have a name. Gen X, I think? I don't know why, but I always associate Halloween with Gen X in America when they were like kids, which would have been in the 80s, I think. And I don't know why. I have no clue why. Maybe it's because a lot of the costumes I see, like I'll go out and there'll be people like wearing Scooby-Doo, and that was like kind of a Gen X thing. So maybe that's why, because I associate it with Scooby-Doo and stuff. Which I don't know why, or like Ghostbusters, which was also like Gen X. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm crazy or if that's like something other people pick up on, because I can't think of a single millennial or Gen Z Halloween like sort of an IP that would go with Halloween, except for like Fortnite, which goes with everything because they have events for like every event. That's like the only thing I can really think of. Stranger Things, but I mean, I was gonna say Stranger Things, but when is Stranger Things set? It's Stranger Things as a show about a bunch of kid Gen X's in the 80s. So, because I would have thought Stranger Things as well, but I think because they do have an episode, I think that is on Halloween. I think because I remember watching it ages ago, and I remember there was like one episode where it was like Halloween, and I think it's like, I don't know. And it also happens to take place in the 80s, so it's like, you know, I don't know. Okay, where's my light? I gotta like, cause yeah, one thing I like about the default normals just for this singlet area is that I've got this sort of shadow here, which actually falls pretty nicely. Like I wanted to make sure I kept that shadow. Like right there, that kind of crescent shape. I really like that. Because that's what I have on the drawings, so I thought I gotta keep that in. And that was gone when I transferred the normals. Although now we gotta fix up some of this. You got some of this going on, which it's not great. So I think what I'll do is I'll take the normal from this and give it to this quadrant. There we go. Now we've got the shadow going. Because I want it to follow, I want the shadow to follow like this sort of line. But not too closely. I think maybe the defaults were fine though. Actually, yeah, the default normals were not terrible. We might leave the defaults on for the underarm. Yeah, actually, oh. Alright, I might leave that alone. But I do like how it clean. Look at that straight line. Look how clean that is. That's brilliant. I just don't like the kind of jitteriness right there. Not a fan. Mongo Bongo says, Hallows Eve, Harvest Fall, it's all pagan European stuff. Well, that's very interesting. So my mom was very wrong. She lied to me then. She always told me, it's an American holiday. You're not celebrating Halloween. I think it was mostly because she was just terrified I'd get kidnapped. I think that was the real reason. But she's like, no, it's because it's American. It's an American holiday, and celebrating it in Australia is stupid. And I said, okay, mom, fine. But no, I should have clapped back and said, no, it's actually European. and I could have shamed her forever, because I think she used to do that when she was growing up in the States. So I'm gonna have to have a word with her about that. Say, why did you lie to me? Nickety Nickname says, you are taking these normals in new and strange directions and it's scaring the 3D artists. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. These are very strange directions after all. I just don't like this area, like just the jitteriness. I'm not a fan of what's going on. Maybe if I paste... Okay, no. We're onto something. We're onto something. Let me cook. There we go. See, look at that. Look at that. That's exactly how I would draw the shadows. I would exactly do it like this, where it comes up and then pinches right there, and then, because that's sort of where the tendon is. That's exactly how I would draw it. If I turn on solid, yeah, and it kind of follows the line too. Now, some of you might remember this. We'll get back to Halloween in just a moment, but. Some of you might remember the amount of painstaking time I spent getting the vertices on this shoulder to be specifically this way. And I know some people were saying, oh, you need to have edge loops in this certain way and you gotta, no triangles, all that stuff. And I said, no, it's gotta be like this, because the Arc System models do it this way. And I think I'll understand why once I get to like normals. Like it doesn't make sense to me straight up, but it always makes sense later. So I'm gonna follow it, and I did. And I didn't understand this bit here first at all. I didn't get it. And why they had shoulders this way. But now that we've got it this way, I can have the shadow go like this, and I can have the... I don't know if you can see that. It might be a bit hard to see. But I can have the, actually, let me save. It'll be easier to see if I pose it. Because when I do certain poses, you can see this sort of line on the underarm, and it's really cool. It's really cool. I just want to, for those that haven't seen it, because it's going to look even better now with the normals. Now, I don't know how well this will work with the rig, but we'll find out. It might break completely. But if I go to one of my test poses, which I've made already. Okay, so just ignore this. All right, but you see, actually, that isn't so bad, because when I look at it, you see that line, like that big line. That's having the topology in that specific way will give you that, which I thought was like, yes, that's awesome. And if I get the light, where's the light? If I rotate this a bit to face... Okay, so we're going to have a bit of glitchiness. So this is something I'll have to work on a little. I'm sure there's a way to solve that. But you can see that for the bit I had... Okay, I think it's just because anything above this line I didn't touch. So this little part, that part is... I haven't touched that bit, but this part I have. And you can... And we're going to also use a bit of... Because one thing I also forgot to fix is that this under bit is meant to all be in shadow, so you won't see those glitchy bits. Because if you remember, it might have been a week or two ago, I was working on the ILM map for Gabi's body, and that was the map that controls specular and line work. And there was an issue we had that I didn't get around to fixing, where there's meant to be designated zones on her body that are always in shadow. And I remember mentioning something about that was on the green channel of the ILM map. I don't know. Some of you might remember. Some of you might not know what I'm talking about. But the idea is that there is a special texture on Gabi that controls shadow strength. And this is in addition to normals. So the underarm, the reason... this is as good as we can get with normals, but there actually is meant to be other stuff going on with the material, which isn't working, but that isn't a normals thing. So what should happen is this underarm bit, like this whole area, should be in shadow with this texture, which is essentially like an occlusion map that tells it, hey, this area stay in shadow and this area stay in light. But for whatever reason, it doesn't work. Even though it's the exact same material I used on Gabi's old model, where it does work, it doesn't work here yet, and I haven't worked out why. But I know that the material will take care of this glitchiness. Like that we can take care of that without normals. But for that little narrow slice, for this area, that's probably as smooth as we can get it with the normals. But yeah, we do need to. It won't look perfectly good until we get the what do you call it? The material, the ILM shadows to work, which the thing is that we got it half working. I don't know if I'll show you what I almost managed to get for those that had missed that one. Let me just reset the pose. I can't see that. There's the skeleton. Oh. So I just want to clear that pose, reset it. Turn off the skeleton, because we're not going to use that for now. But yeah, you see that is... let's clean those up. But yeah, this triangle, I remember I modeled and UV'd this specific triangle out specifically to be in shadow, and that's a shader problem that we haven't fixed. But I do remember, I think I was using, maybe it's because I was using because the thing is with the neck is meant to be all in shadow. I remember I had, I might be able to demonstrate it real quick. Or not. Oh, it might be this. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know exactly which one it was. But oh yeah, you can kind of see it. So if I put an empty gray texture on the ILM map and then replace it with the one I made, you can see that the shadow on the neck embellishes. It's meant to be fully shaded, but it doesn't do it the full way, and that's the issue I haven't quite worked out yet. And even it actually does a bit of this to the underarm. It adds a bit of extra shadow, but it doesn't add in enough. So that's the thing I still have to work out. So that might prove a bit challenging with the normals, especially for that underarm bit. So I think the best we could probably do is just do the bits that don't use that don't rely on the ILM map as much. So yeah, we're not going to be able to get this perfect until that's fixed. So I won't spend too long on like those areas, and we'll wait until I can fix the thing for that to work. But this part doesn't rely on it, and that's looking pretty good because we got this cool little bit of shadow coming up there, which I like. I wonder if I could actually, with these, I wonder what I could do. Could I get the shadow to come up, like further up, I wonder? Oh, I could. Maybe just for that middle one. I don't know if I'll keep this, but I'm just curious what happens. Oh, cool, yeah, so I can make the... Alright, so I'll let me get rid of that. Yeah, there we go. There we go. You see that? So with that topology, we can do that. Anyway, well, Halloween. We were talking about Halloween. Gabi's other half is the DLC. Yeah, you know it. You know it. Well, yeah, hopefully there is... I know there is a way to mirror custom normal. I don't care what anyone says. I know. I've seen it. I'm not crazy. I know there's a way to do it. I just cannot remember how I did it. And no one... I've spent an hour this morning searching, and I could not find anything about mirroring custom normals. There is nothing. So that's Future Ray's problem. All right, that's pretty all right. That's probably as good as we'll get without the ILM map. I think this looks like it could be a bit smoother now that I'm looking at it again. Alright, that's nicer. Actually, that's even nicer, yeah. Because, yeah, I reckon the way I see it is if you have 3 normals all facing the same way, then that'll make a straight line no matter what you do. So those are all the same anyway, from the looks of it. So that's all right. That's pretty good. But yeah, see now, check this out. Oh, I love that. We've got like the little bit of the shoulder. Because you can see the crease of the shoulder muscle now. And if you recall, Gabi's old model like had no shoulder muscle at all. Like, I don't think, yeah, she didn't have any muscles. Now, the only tricky bit is when I rotate the light, it's still mostly good, but there is a bit of, if I look at it in this view, I can probably see a bit of jagginess going on. So I might have to smooth out this part of the shoulder just to make sure it doesn't. Because yeah, you can actually see there, you can see the bit of shadow coming up. But I think there's something about, it's like these 2 vertices here. Because when you look at it in this view, you can start to kind of see where the shadows are going to fall. You can start to predict them. And then if I look at it, well, actually, that's, whoa. Okay, well, whatever I just did there, look how smooth that is. It's crazy. It looks like I've messed up a little bit here, though. I've messed that up a little, so I'll make sure I fix that. There we go. Wow. Okay, well it's actually kind of more fun than I was expecting. I think I'm starting to get the hang of it now. Of what needs to, yeah, okay, so that needs to be like that. I'm starting to get in the groove. It's starting to make sense. Except that the armpit, the shoulder, oh no, the shoulder shadow's still there. So it looks like when we, the only thing I don't like is that when I look at it from this angle with the light, it creates this, I don't like what it's doing there. But I don't know if there's anything I can do. Because we're not going to really see lights from that angle a lot. I just don't want it coming down as far. That's the main thing. I just want the shadow to taper a bit sooner. That's all I want. Which might, I can see that might not be possible. Oh, well, I guess, yeah, that might just be a thing that, I mean, it's not the worst. That's kind of cool how it creates this sort of, I like this shape, that's really cool. Although this, I've done something here that I shouldn't have. Okay, that might work. Oh. Yeah, so that's the tricky bit that I haven't quite got the hang of is... Well, no, let me think. I can work this out. It's just having the light at different angles. Now, I don't know how Arc System Works do this. Like, I know what they do. I don't know how they do it. If they do it the same way where they test it with the cell shader on and off and whatever. I don't know if they do that, but... I do know that, well... yeah, because I'm just not sure how many different light angles they try it from. I guess they'd have to try it around a bit. So what I might do, I reckon if I just concentrate, I'll be able to work it out of what this arm, how the arm should look, because there is something a bit off about it. I'm gonna have to get a reference open, because we're getting close. It's getting closer, but there is, yeah, like there's now a bit of an issue here. But I think I'm starting to get the hang of what I gotta look out for. Because the reason with the arms, because I do know for a fact that the forearms for their characters do have this sort of flat look to them. And I know I can get it, but yeah, so the issue I'm seeing, it might be hard to see on the stream with the compression, but you can see that there is a streak of light and then a streak of darkness, and then, okay, maybe if I change the material, I don't know if there's something easier. Oh, hey, we have a toon shader. Oh, that's okay, that's a bit too many tones. I don't want that many tones. You can kind of see some creases. I think that's what I'm trying to explain. There are some creases, and I think that's what's causing the shadows to pop in at angles where they shouldn't. That's my theory anyway. So I just gotta make sure that it's like following it. Okay, because I gotta remember there's 3 different angles to consider. Because there's the upwards, like how far up it's facing, which is the only thing I'm thinking about. But I think it also might be the X and Y. Maybe those are causing issues to it. Maybe those are causing it to look like there's a seam. I guess the best way to describe it is like when you look at crinkled bed sheets and it's like you can see folds in them. That's what because I want them to look smooth. And if I see crinkles, I only want the crinkles in deliberate spots, like underneath this arm and on the shoulder. I don't want, like here, you see this little fold, this crinkle? I want that, but I don't want it here. There is one there that is very slight. It's hard to see, but there is one there, and it isn't quite what I want. So I might need to just smooth. It might just be a matter of smoothing it out more, but I don't know. I want the top side of the arm to be very consistent with the way it's lit. I want it to kind of be very, what's the word? It should look very like sort of flat at the top. That's what I want it to look like. So I think I get making them like this. It's just smoothing it out. That's the thing I think that's the thing I gotta work on. Because the top faces are the way I want them. It's just the sides. So if I rotate the light around. Because yeah, the top of the forearm is fine. Mostly. Except for where it hits the elbow. But I think it's just got to be a bit, it's just too flat. It's got to be a bit smoother. I think that's what it is. So I think that will come to, well, I think they need to be, the ones, I gotta put these in groups. Like, I gotta think about it as like rows and groups. So these ones need to be facing, they're a bit crooked. They gotta be standing up. They gotta be like that. And then the ones that are further out have to kind of be the same, but lean a bit closer, like just a little bit. So they can't all exactly be up. They gotta like kind of lean. I think that will give me the look I want. Because yeah, the arms, there's a lot I want to do with the arms, especially with like the animation and poses and stuff. And I gotta make sure that the arms don't look glitchy, especially the forearms. So if I rotate it like this, I wonder if it might be easier to just use HDRI to preview the shadows. Because that's actually, when I look at it that way, it's not bad. See, that's all right. But I gotta be, it's just when it starts getting further around, that's when I start seeing issues. And I reckon, yeah. So the snapping, because I do want it snapping, but I think I'd want it. I think I don't want it snapping. I want it to snap in the middle, not on the side. So you see here when I rotate, I'll move the light a bit closer. I don't know if you guys can see it. But you see the arm? When I rotate the light, I'll reset the rotation. So you see how the shadow snaps from one side to the other? I think what I want... I think I want it to also pick a point in the middle as well to snap to. And that will come from... If I take this vector, if these, sorry, not vectors, these vertices, and rotate them just a little on one axis, I think it's the X. Yeah, like that. If I rotate them slightly, but I think I might need to rotate them a little more. So on the X, maybe by, oh no, that's scaling. Z10, X10. So the more, okay, maybe I don't want that because it does look a bit. Do I want that? Because now if I have it like this, the shadow, okay. Because the more, I gotta decide if I want the shadows to smoothly cover the arm or to snap over the arm. I think that's the decision I'm really trying to make. Because for the face, I want them to be very strict, but I gotta think about how strict do I want them for the arms. Because the more control on the normals, the more they will snap to places. And you can see... You see how on the side, the outside here, when I rotate it there, it's smooth. But when but on the other side, it'll snap. And I'm not sure which I want. Which do I want? I do know that I want the shadows to snap. Yeah, so I'll come back to that and I'll focus on, because I know here I want them to be a bit more explicit, and I want the shadow to snap into this cavity and out of this cavity. So I'll focus on this because I think once I sort that out, I'll be able to make a decision on what I want to do with this. So I'll yeah, see what I get to. Yeah, some of the, yeah, I can tell some of them here are a bit wonky. Okay, because now the problem I was having earlier, it was this. It was it might be a topology thing actually. I might be able to, if I think carefully, I might be able. It might be a thing with the topology. I'll have to work out. Because I think I want it to kind of go there. It's just this part where it's transitioning back. That's where it gets tricky. So maybe these vertices have to match. But I don't want to overdo it. I gotta be careful. Actually, that might work. If I do it this way. Actually, yeah, that is a much smoother... But the shadow does come up a fair bit. So I think I want those to all kind of match. So it's this quadrant. But I maybe this top line, I'll rotate that out a bit. I'll smooth it a little. Oh, I don't like that. That's a bit jittery. Let me cook. I think I'm onto something. I think I'm figuring it out. No, I'll go back. So I think what I want is, I think it's just that whole bit. I just need to rotate the normals to face slightly more to the side. Because I don't want the shadows dominating too much of that while the light is coming from above. I think that's what it is. So I think if I just take this area, I'll make sure that the normals on there are the same as well. So it's sort of this sort of, I guess there's probably a corresponding muscle for this area. And if I just rotate the normals just for this area, so that, because that way this entire area will always be the same. Like the lighting will always be the same for these polygons. There will never be a difference. But I do think they need to just rotate a little, not a lot, just kind of like that, I reckon. Yeah, because that's how I would like the shadows to look from this angle. And then if I rotate this back down, yeah, then that fill will come back up. Yeah, I think that's what I was wanting. So when I look at it from the top, when the light is more like top heavy, like this. Oh, we got a little. Looks like I selected you by accident. Sorry, little guy. Let's get you back. There we go. So when you look at it from the light from the top, it's like that, and then as it starts to kind of descend, it'll keep that cavity, and then it, oh, okay, well that's further back than what we were doing, but for that little bit, yeah, you can see it sort of snaps out of that area we just did, which I'm liking that, because then that way there's no weird glitchiness with the, like it won't have wiggly lines. That's kind of the point. As for this, because I guess that will be the next quadrant down, maybe I should put some thought into this part. Because we've got like this, and then there's the part below it. So I'll take those. I think I'm starting to get it of how I want it to work. And I think the normals on here are a little crooked. I want them to point down. So I'll make sure I rotate them thusly to face down. Kind of like that. And then I'll copy this for this sort of bottom area of the forearm. Ah. Ooh, I really hope that that'll still play nice. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, we didn't do that vertice. Or these two. It's not... Not bad. I didn't think it would go that far back, but I guess when the light's at that angle... It's just the sort of elbow. I'm not happy with that. But I think that forearm bit, I'm happy with that. I reckon that's pretty alright. Because yeah, I do love that little pinch, the shadow, this. I love that. Because that, I see it all the time in drawings. I draw that in all the time. And now it like actually, it kind of accentuates the muscles, which I like. Now, I don't know if I touched the shoulder or anything. I don't think I have. I don't know if, I think this is the shoulder, I think is using the normals. It's using transferred normals. Which are, again, those are fine for the rest, like for the legs, they're fine. I want to make sure that it's going to work for the shoulder, because I don't like how it's being kind of here, it's like pulling back. So if I reset, oh, okay, well if I reset them, it kind of makes them worse. So that's not, Let me reset the, yeah, I just kind of don't like it, the shadow pulling back like that. But I guess it's not jaggy, so maybe that's okay. Like, it's still smooth, it's just kind of not sitting where I would expect. And then there's this. Now, this is gonna be... This area is tricky, because that part of this relies on the ILM map, which is having issues. So I'm not sure if I will get to modifying that or not. If that's a good idea to do now. Maybe what I will do... Because I know that I want this front area to always be like the same, with the same lighting. So if I paste, I know that I want that to always be like very, you know, that area to be very steady. So if I'm curious how that'll look with the light. Because the shadows will, yeah, actually that's not bad. I like that. It's just sort of this area though, it's a little you can see a bit of jaggies there. But that's a tough one. I'll have to put more, I have to think about that because that's a tough area because it's very spherical and it's difficult. Manually doing them there is going to be a pain, so we're not, I reckon I'll have to come up with a better way to handle that. Sorry, I haven't been checking chat. Some guy, I remember you're some guy, asks, the only levels we saw either look blockouts or using store assets. I really want to see concept art of what a level would fully look like completed. Well, there's a few levels that I haven't shown. Maybe there's one I've shown, like on Twitter, but I haven't put them in devlogs. I'm working on, well, I've got like 5 devlogs to get through. I've spent most of this week working on the combat devlog. In fact, if you're an early access member or patron, I have uploaded a rough cut of that episode, but the middle of the episode didn't come out the way I wanted, so I spent most of this week like re-scripting and re-recording the middle of the episode because it was just I didn't do a good job explaining it, and I was like watching it back and I was like I can't even understand what I'm saying, like I gotta redo this. So I'm working on that one, and then after that there's a few more, and one of them will go over some of the levels. The level you saw last time in that we did for the Screen Australia grant with that one kind of predominantly used store assets. I think that's the one you're referring to, because I think that one we scrapped because that was sort of trying to do the open world design, and I realized that it just wasn't fun, so I chucked that one out because it did its job in that we showed it to, like, you know, it got us into the grant program, which I realized I didn't want to be in, but it got us an eyes on that. But I mean, it looked pretty, but it wasn't a fun map. So that's like an expensive lesson learned, that, you know, sometimes it isn't all just graphics. But I have been working on like there's a lab level, and then there's another one I'm working on as well. But I do need to do a bit more study on environments because, yeah, there's a lot of research I still have to do because the look is like still not exactly what I want, and I know I can get it, but there's like things with materials and post-processing. I've made a few leaps with the post-processing, and it looks a lot more anime-like. But there's things with materials and textures that I want to look more into. I've just had some trouble with it because, again, I'm not a big environment person, so it's been a lot of learning to work that out of what I want, and getting it the right look. It's been quite hard, and getting tools that also will work long term and not, you know, not having spaghetti coated tools and that type stuff. But yeah, there's this level we called the lab. I think I've shown bits of that in the last video, but I didn't go into detail on because that's coming up in like a later episode because it's still being worked on, and there's a lot I want to say once I've finished up the thing I'm trying to do with it. So that devlog might be still a while away still, but yeah, I've been focusing quite a bit on like trying to get that looking the right way. But I think that one was mostly custom assets because I've realized that with the store-bought stuff, yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Like, some of it's good, but you gotta be careful. And I found it was kind of, I had a lot more control over custom assets. So I've been trying to make like a workflow with custom assets that doesn't take forever. And that's a tough balance. That's a really tough balance to strike. But yeah, I'll probably have more to say on that once more progress sort of gets done on it. But I've been, yeah, sort of bouncing around between a bit of everything. But I've been mostly focusing for the last like few months on this model, because this is really like, once I do, because I really want to get to animating this, because it's gonna really change up how it feels to play the game. So I guess with the arm, I don't know. I reckon that's probably the best I'll be able to do for now. I reckon with the normals for the arm. For the neck, I think for the legs are mostly fine. I haven't looked at the back. The back, there is a little bit around the upper back I want to just check on. Yeah, you can see we got a bit of jaggies, bit of jaggies going on. That's gonna be tough. Well, wait a minute. Did I? Oh, I need it. Where's the low polyhuman? I think I need to retransfer, because I think I reset the normals for the entire singlet because I wanted them reset on the front, but I think I also did it on the back by accident. So I want to mask the back and transfer the normals from the low poly on the back, because I think I might have accidentally reset them. Have I thought about using PCG? I don't know what that is. If that's some kind of procedural, I'm gonna guess it's some kind of procedural thing. If it is, well, I've looked into some procedural stuff, but designing a good level, it's more work than just clicking generate. You know, like you gotta be very thoughtful. Do I want to do this part at the bottom? I think I will leave. I think I'll sort of have it at the waist. And yeah, I think it's this area that I want to reset. So I'll make a... just a group, assign it, and then we'll get the transfer, data transfer again. Because I think it must have, I don't think it kept the... Oh, maybe it did. I don't know. Okay, that looks a lot smoother. I think it's just when it's in edit mode. Yeah, that looks a lot smoother. So if I turn it off, yeah, I must have reset them by accident. So I will... Well, let's see how that looks before I apply it. Okay, it's looking a bit better. But let's see if I rotate the light, does it hold up? Oh. That's alright. Do I want shadows on the shoulder blades? I'm not sure. I mean, it's better than that. But I remember I had it. There was a specific thing where there was I did have like a shadow on this sort of shoulder, like this area. There was like a cool shadow on it. I wonder if I can get that going, because it'll look really cool if I could. But I reckon, yeah, this will be a good start. So I'll apply it. Oh yeah, the symmetry. I gotta look at it from the other side. So I'll save that. And then I'll see if I can create like this sort of, if I can like light all like this area the same and have like a shadow, that'd be cool. Oh, okay, that might be a bit trickier. Maybe that's not a good idea. Oh, no, wait, no. I think... Yeah, hold up, let me cook. I think maybe if I do it like this... Okay, Okay, ignore the other side. Just focus on the left. Okay, no, that didn't come out as good as I was hoping. Nah. We'll leave that alone. I mean, yeah, that's all right. Pretty smooth. I mean, yeah, as long as it's smooth. I guess it doesn't matter if it gets into all the cavities, as long as it's smooth. That's the main thing. Speaking of which, this... I haven't looked at the back of the shoulder yet, but this is having a bit of... I'm not liking that. Don't know how I want to solve that though. Okay, no, not like that. Well, yeah, mainly I just want to stop it from sort of catching on this vert. That'd be nice. Maybe if I smooth these a bit. Maybe that'll do it. That's... Oh, what have I done? No! What have I done? Oh, I've turned on X-ray. Okay, I don't want that. I mean, that's alright. That's better. Yeah, I mean, it's still a bit wobbly, but it's like, if you look at it from a distance, it's a lot better. Oh, except when I do this. Oh dear. What are you doing, little fella? Okay, maybe I might reset and keep them, because I don't remember them being too... Oh, okay, no, that's... That's interesting. Alright, that's gonna be a bit tricky, but it's like, it's a little better now. It's a bit smoother. I guess it's just hard because of the arm shadows, I suppose, connecting. But then I don't know why the shadow's coming up like that. Let me search up PCG though, because someone was asking about that. What does that mean? Project planning corporate real estate. Okay, I'm guessing that's not what you meant. Because no. Oh, procedural. Okay, you did mean procedural. Well, yeah, the thing I want to look at, I'll tell you what I'm thinking, because the thing I want to really look into is some kind of workflow that utilizes tileable textures. That's where I want to head, because I've been trying to study environments more, and I've been trying to look at patterns, like how much of this could I repeat, and how much bespoke assets do I need? Because the way I'd like to work, because here's the thing, I don't know how to do it, but I know how I want to do it. What I would like to do is essentially have, for like making more levels, one thing I'd like to do is have sort of a system where I've got like a kit essentially, and the kit is like made smartly so that it's like reusing a lot of textures. For example, there was some environment I was looking at, and I noticed that, just this is a very simple example, but I noticed the thing where like the wall and the floor texture were the same, but the floor was like a different color. But it was like the basic shape, like the normal map was like the same texture. And then there was like, when they had like circular objects and stuff, like circular platforms, only, like if it was like a cylinder shape, only one slice of it would be textured, and then it would repeat around like a pizza. That kind of stuff. Because I understand that kind of, how to do it. And I like the idea of, one thing that'll do as well, at least what I think will happen, is if I go around building things kind of that way, then it'll be really hard to go off palette. And to me, that's really important that the levels have a, because that's one of the issues we struggled with the with the Screen Australia map that I had my contractor do was that the palette was a little bit all over the place because it was all using store-bought stuff. And it makes it look busy. And I don't think I want it to look busy. I think I want it to look very kind of easy to read. So yeah, that's something I learned when we were doing that map, is that kind of level of detail was a bit overboard. Like I don't think we really need it that, like at that level. I reckon we could probably make fun levels, no problem, without having to like place too much clutter around and things. Like maybe a bit, like having procedural tools to do that. I do have, well, the thing is I've got a tool that does it, but it isn't well written, because that was like contractor work I had to do. So I didn't personally make the tools, and I need to go and fix a lot of them because they were kind of spaghetti coded and I didn't think to check them. So that's been one setback as well that I've sort of had to work out, is the it's like fixing the contract spaghetti code, because I didn't, you know, there's a lot of conventions that I thought were common knowledge that it turns out are not common knowledge, like naming things properly or naming variables, naming functions. You'd be surprised. That was horrifying that some people just don't name that stuff. So I've had to go through and like kind of redo a lot of that stuff. Been a bit of a pain, but at least I know it's like, well, if I do it, then I know exactly how it works. I know it's organized exactly the right way, and if I need to change it, I know exactly how. If it needs to, like, if I need the scatter tool to do something like slightly different, if I need to modify it, then I'll know how to do it once I finish sort of refactoring it. So there might be a bit of that going on, but I want to focus mainly on just making sure that like the colors and the way light looks is like right. Because I think what I imagine is there's probably going to be a certain combination of things I have to do to get that look, and that's going to affect how everything's built. So I'm probably going to have to rebuild some of the stuff we've already made with the right thing, with just, you know, having the right materials, the tools and all that stuff. Like there's a lot to do still, which is why I haven't really wanted to talk about it a lot, because there's still a lot to do on it, and I don't want to show it until it's like reasonable, like presentable. But yeah, my main thing is like I'm kind of obsessed with textures, having some kind of thing where I can make a few hand done textures and then just use them everywhere. I like that idea, but I need to look more into like the limits of that because yeah, mainly this is for things like floors, walls, ceilings. That's kind of those are like the main bits that I gotta make sure I have. And for me, it's like I want to not have to model as much as I can, because I love, with texturing, I know how to draw, I like doing that. Modeling, I don't like doing a lot. So I want to like not, you know, like in some games you open it up and they'll have like the pipes modeled in and the floor has like displacement maps on it and stuff. Like I don't want to do any of that, because it's like modeling all that in, and if you're going to just run by it like at 100 miles an hour, like you're not going to see all of that model detail. So if I can get that across in a texture, which takes me no time, then I'd want to do like that. But yeah, I'm not too worried about it looking next gen or whatever. Like I want a certain style. That's why I'm not really too interested in all the nanite stuff, because I'm not really going for a high-tech look. I'm just going for anime. So I'm trying to kind of stick to primitive stuff. But anyway, yeah, so I'm just looking at these normals. I'm trying to think what I should work, if anything, because I reckon I'll probably need to like look at this later to decide if it's like, you know, like if the normals are the way I want them. What we might be able to do something to sort of finish things off with, something fun. Normals for this. We might be able to try something out. I might have to go and change them later, but this is an object that should be really easy to do. Because I want the normals here to be very smooth. We'll just focus on like this top bit for the moment, because I know how I want the normals on here to look, and doing non-organic's very easy. So what I might do, we'll get some normals going for this suit, because I'm gonna need to rest my eyes and look at it again later to decide on stuff for Gabi. So let's, just so that we get momentum going, let's get some going on the suit. So I'll need to make a cylinder because we're going to do we're going to do data transfer again. Just got to remember where the cylinder button is. Cylinder, there we go. Shade smooth, like that. So then if I go here and go data transfer, interesting. Oh wait, that's not it. Data, oh. See, I press D, I don't know where it is on the menu, but I know if I start typing it in, it'll put it in. So we'll face data, custom normals. Oh, okay, that's looking awful. Maybe I have this set wrong. Oh. Okay, that's funky. Because I know there's a certain, I forgot which one of these is, but there's a certain setting you need this on for it to not go completely strange. Might be this. Oh. Maybe I need to make this bigger. Okay. I have to apply... I think I need to move it over and have it roughly the same size for this to work properly, I think. Let me try that again. I messed it up. Okay, I'm gonna move it over. I'll try and get it in like the rough shape. My neck's starting to hurt, so I gotta be quick because I'll have to go and like lie down. Because I don't know what I did, but I like put my neck out somehow. Maybe I like slept on it weird. I don't know, but like like the other day it was really bad. Like I couldn't sit. Like it was really painful. Now I can kind of tolerate it, but it's still starting to hurt a bit. So I'll try and make this swift. Just got to remember which of these buttons will give me the normals I want. Okay, it must be... It's not that one. Oh, wait. If I apply scale, will that fix it? I think that has to be off. Object transform has to be off. Why can I not remember which of these dropped? Okay, well this looks like the closest one. It doesn't look right, but... Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the closest we'll get. Because for whatever reason... Okay, I gotta look at it with the light on. Okay, I guess that's close enough. Alright, that'll probably... Yeah, maybe that is what I want. It's just, it didn't look like what I was expecting it to look. Maybe maybe it's because I've got these. If I take off the bottoms and tops, how will it look? Oh, okay, I'm gonna leave those on. Okay, I do need those on. But here's what I want to do with these armor pieces. So I think that's the normal, like that's how they look like ordinarily. So they actually are pretty close. And that's what they look like with data transfer on. So I will apply that, but there's something I want to do with these side bits. Because what I want to do is I want these bits on the side to not have bumpiness, because these are kind of going to stay like... I want these to be in the same shadow. Like I don't want the shadow to... I want them to snap across this part, because that's when I draw it, that's how I do it. So I want to take this quadrant, this where the vents are, and give them an explicit direction to all face one way. So here's where it gets really funky, right? Is because when you look at it, if I'll turn off solidify. Because when you look at it from the side, like the vents vanish, and you're like, where did it go? But they actually are there. It's just they're all lit the same direction. So if I bring back the light, and rotate it, it should snap. Yeah, it should snap across them like that. Now, there are some bits I'm not a big fan of here that I have to pay attention to. And that's how do I want to treat... How do I want shadows here to work? Because I don't... It's acting a little glitchy there, but I don't know how to exactly work around that, if I can. I guess that's an odd angle, so maybe, I don't know. It might be a bit tricky. But the side shading works the way I want, so that's good. Yeah, I want it to sort of do that, because having it halfway over, it kind of acts a bit weird. It's a bit wiggly when it's like kind of half over. Although, yeah, it is. Do I want it also? Let me try adding it here on the outside bits too. I'm curious how that'll look. Okay, maybe maybe I think one side I rotate a little. Like if I take this vector. Oh, sorry. I call them vectors, but they're normals. But I'm reading the word vectors on the menu, which is why I keep calling them vectors. But if I take those and paste them like this for this, just so that it's like everything on one side has. Okay, that's more like what I want actually. Yeah, and then if I take this one and then apply it to this side, I think that'll get me the look I want. And I forgot to do these outer ones as well. Yeah, that's more like what I want. Although I don't like that the shadow is sort of catching on that bottom bit. Oh yeah, and it does look a bit. Oh. I mean, I guess it's not the worst. I could probably. That's probably. Does that look off? Not too bad. But at least it's like they sort of stay in those sort of corners. I guess, yeah, I would probably draw the shadows like that at that angle. And then they can, yeah, then they can come up to the middle like that, which I like. I'm just like gotta think about the back. How do I want that to go? Because yeah, one thing that does bother me a bit is like how the shadows kind of cut off. But I guess the only alternative is to have the entire bottom half in shadow, which also isn't gonna look good. Or I don't know, maybe it would. I might just have to sort of have that as it is. I guess it's not the worst. I wouldn't draw it sort of like that, but I guess the way I would want to do it, I won't be able to do with normals. But I guess from that angle, yeah, it's just because it's one of those like chamfered edges, so it's a bit tricky to. I guess it's best to leave those alone, I reckon, because I remember for the robot character, I had that same issue where, well, I don't think I had anything this particular shape. I'll have to open them up and look, because I had a robot character which I did on stream ages ago, where I had to do the normals for, and I want to go and see how I let me open him up, because there's a way I did it. I just want to see how I did it on that character, if there was any, because I had a lot of those chamfered edges, and I want to see how I did them. So let me just open it real quick. Give me a second. I think, what did I call them? Drone. I think I called them that. So if I open the Blender file, I want to see what I did, because I know I've solved this sort of problem before. Okay, so this was another character I did on stream maybe last year, I think. And I did custom normals on him too, and I think it looks like I did a lot more snapping. But if I look at sort of this sort of fin area at the back, how did I do that? How did I handle that? I think okay. How did I do those? It looks like I actually put in work into, Well, I guess that's a bit of an easier shape because everything's sort of at a right angle. Yeah, it's weird. Now I kind of remember now. I made it very explicit on how where the shadows go. Interesting. Okay, I think I know how I might go about this. I think I have an idea. Because you see this top face? What I did here is that all the normals face upwards so that the shadow doesn't go halfway. And I think the only time it does go halfway up is on the wheel and on this thing. So I gotta think. I think what I want to do for this is I think I want them all to face down. I think that's what I want. So I'm gonna try that. So I'm gonna take one of these normals. Maybe I'll take a... Oh, I had an object that I can copy a normal. I want to have a normal going directly down, and I want to copy it and paste it. I just gotta find... I'll just get a cube for the moment. And I'll copy the vector from it. So I'm gonna copy... It's probably not the cleanest way to do it, but now I have that vector and I can paste it all over here. Paste vectors. Oh, it's flipped them the wrong way. Okay, let's back up. I must have... No, it's pointing downwards. Yeah, maybe I didn't copy it. Paste. Why is it moving them up? Okay, maybe if I copy it from the top. Copy. And then if I paste it. Okay, now, alright, now I've got it. Let's see how that looks. Alright, I'm liking that more. I'm liking that more. The shadow doesn't just randomly cut off halfway through. It sort of stays in shadow. And yet, actually, I like that because it creates this cool kind of rim sort of effect. I like that. Question is, should I also do it for this? Should I copy those here? I don't think I should, but I want to see how it looks. If I paste it, oh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've... Nah, no, I reckon that's too much. Yeah. It's a bit much. I will not. I'll just have them on the bottom. Maybe on these faces too. Although, yeah, for some reason, I know that there's probably a way to keep them as sharp, but I don't remember how. So I'll if there's any sharp edges that I've like overridden, I'll try and get back to those. But yeah, the shadow here is really good. It is a little bumpy in this next bit. It's probably because of this, I'd imagine. That's probably why. If I was to do that, for instance, yeah, it would look a bit different. Well, that's I wonder what choice should I make there. Should I copy those like that? I don't know. Because that's going to look a bit jaggy if I have it like that. Or maybe, if I take this... Maybe if I have the whole side, not just the grill, but everything. If I have that facing one way, I want to see... I'll save it and I'll see how it looks. It might look hideous, but it also might not, so we'll see. Because yeah, these bits are going to be pretty important so they don't have glitch sort of shadows on them. So if I take this whole bit and paste so that the shadows are kind of... well, yeah, it's this. Maybe these need to be the same too. If I paste it... Okay, now it's a bit neater. I see. Okay, I get what's going on now. So what vector, I think, oh, it was this, okay. So if I copy that to the other side, and now this is one of the cases where isn't symmetrical, so I can actually copy them to both sides. Although I don't like that this is, oh, it's because I gotta rotate it down. If I rotate it like that, that shadow should vanish. Yes. Now that top one I'm gonna leave alone because it's a split one, and I don't want to touch that one. But but if I copy and paste that to these bits, like that, the shadow should sort of stay, it shouldn't go diagonal and all that stuff, which is more like the drawing. So if I rotate it, yeah, you see it's a lot cleaner now. And it kind of just goes, it snaps over that whole bit, which I'll have to decide if that's what I want or if I want it to smoothly go. But I think with snapping, it'll be less jaggy if it snaps. Now I just got to look at the back. The back is still it's still not quite fully there. So I think if I just take this and copy them. See, the main thing, just to kind of bring this back into context, I guess, because the main thing I want to avoid for these pieces is the sort of circular, like these circular shapes. I'm not really, that's going to be kind of an issue. So the way you solve that, I'm finding, is that the reason that's happening is because the light's coming from a bit above, and the normals on this side, there's one facing a bit up, one facing a bit there, this one's facing perfectly straight, that's facing a little down, and then so on. So the trick is to have them all kind of facing one way. And I'm going to do it like this. So I'm going to take these, hit paste, and now they're all sort of sitting parallel. And then that circular kind of shadow, oh, it's still there, it looks like. Oh, it's because of these it's because of these edges, that's why. So if I copy like that, paste them around there and there, that'll get us where we want them. Oh, that is, oh, okay, there we go. So now the shadow is sort of stays in its lane, I guess. Except here, except this vertice, for whatever reason. There we go. It looks like I just didn't paste it. But yeah, now that they'll sort of stay in these areas. But they do snap a little. I was hoping that the snapping wouldn't be as extreme. So to make the snapping less hardcore, I just need to rotate by 10 degrees on the Z. So it's normal, rotate, Z, minus 10 degrees. So now they're kind of spread out a little, but they're horizontally, they're still kind of sitting, they're not going up or down, they're sort of staying like that, but then like on the other axis, instead of all going that way, they're all kind of spreading out a bit so that light will catch, and it creates this sort of effect here. Where yeah, see that the shadow now cleanly travels across there. It just sort of like a sheet. It just goes like that. That's cool. I like that. It's not quite doing it for the tops because again, these I'll have to work. I have to figure out how to do that with those sharp edges because I want to just modify one of them, like the bottom line, but I don't know how because if I rotate it, it rotates all of it, and I don't want it to do that. So I'll have to come back to that one once I figure that out. But for the rest of it, I think it just needs a little bit of cleanup on the other side. Yeah, like here, it's a little on the other side. It's a bit messy. If I take this, paste it, yeah, that should kind of stay where it is. Because yeah, the idea is, yeah, having that kind of, not having them all face up or down, but having them sort of face consistently across. I think that's what I want. Oh, not like that. Yeah, it's a bit nicer. It's just going to be a little glitchy at the top and bottom, but I'm looking at the middle. That's pretty good. I just don't like it catching. I don't know why it's doing that, and I don't know how to fix that. That might be a bit of a challenge. Or maybe not. I think there's something I could do to help. I'll do what I did at the bottom. I'll copy that to the top. So if I take the normal, I think it was like for whatever reason, it was like going the other way around. But if I paste that, which way? Okay, now it's facing the right way. So if I copy just a straight going directly upwards, if I copy that vector and paste it, maybe that will work. Now, I do like that there's a bit more sort of like a rim, like chamfered edge effect. That's a bit better now. And it doesn't look like the shadow's clipping there now, so that might have solved it. It's sort of it's like staying on the edge, and it's coming up a little bit on these two, but I know why. It's because of these two vertices. But it's not, yeah, okay, that might have fixed it. Yeah, now, yeah, you can see here it follows that contour. It doesn't like try to cut it into its lane. That's cool. Oh, I might have to rest soon. My shoulder's killing me, my neck. Let me check some chat questions. Typist Kid is making a game in the Blender game engine? I thought they discontinued that. I thought that was gone. So you're telling me it's still in there, or are you using like Blender 2.6 or something? Wow. I did know a guy that tried that once. And that was like I think the first engine I ever heard of ever was the Blender engine. But I was like 9. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I thought like, oh, that'll never be me. Like, I'll never be able to do that. But I remember some guy I knew was telling me about it. He was showing me like 3D models, and he was like, yeah, man, like, and then I'm going to make a game in the Blender engine. And I think he kind of got some of the stuff going, but I don't think he finished it. But it was a cool little, he had like movement, which was cool. And then he could just model stuff, which is pretty epic. Oh wow, look at the shadow there. I didn't even look at this part yet, but I like that. Look at the shadow on that bottom piece. On the calf. That's epic. Oh yeah, for the stuff with the environments. Yeah, I think I'm not gonna do. Someone was saying Kuwahara filter. I did that on the Screen Australia build, and I don't think I'm gonna keep using that. It just, I don't know, something just looks off. Like I look at those screenshots now, and yeah, it's like, it looks like it's just had a filter put on it, which is exactly what happened. So I don't know. I want to, because here's the tricky thing is, I know that doing textures, like stylized textures, will look much better, but if I don't do it smart, then it'll take longer. So I'm trying to think of, in the background while I'm doing all this, I'm trying to come up with some way to like mix. I've got the post-processing the way I want it, and it's basically just, it's like diffuse bloom and color grading, and that's it. And I want to use like hand-done textures and rely on those. And like try and use reusable assets a lot. Because weirdly enough, you guys remember Skyport? Remember that map? There were some things there I did right, but it was like my first go at doing a level like that. So I had like hand modeled every asset in that level, which took ages. But I think now I kind of get it. The look is like half there, and I think I get why. And I think if I came back and finished those off and like made some occlusion maps and whatever, and actually textured them instead of using flat colors, I probably would have something that looks decent. But yeah, the thing I got to think about as well, you know, like how can I do this more quickly, or is there ways I can shortcut and speed things up without causing some issue later? And that's something I'm trying to work on. But I think having that control, because the reason why I'm trying to kind of pull back a bit from marketplace, relying only on that, is because with this model, I think I've said this a few times, and they say this in the GDC talk for this. The Arc System Works GDC talk. They say that the key is intentionality. The artist's intent. That's the word they always use. The artist intent. You have to not break the artist intent for it to look right. And with marketplace stuff, you never quite know what you're gonna get because it's all modeled in different styles. You know, some kit you might get might not have the piece you want. And it might be, I reckon it's good for like a base, but for what I want, I think I have to imprint my intent on them for them to look the best. I think the reason they didn't look right before is because I was not doing that. So things like materials, that's a huge part of it, where when we were making the Screen Australia level, we just kind of had the default materials of all the assets we had on stuff. And that, because it's all like realistic, and that didn't, slapping a Kurohara filter on it, I don't think was enough. So, yeah, but if I had to do that again, what I would probably do is I would use the model and then do my own textures over it or something. That's probably what I would think to do if I needed a certain model or something. Because that way, you know, just like take like a plant or something, or, you know, something like a metal object like this, you know, because I think the thing it needs my touch on it. Like if I'm choosing colors or choosing certain texture details, I think that makes a difference, because there's like an intentionality. It isn't just like a photo scan, because a lot of them are, the ones we used were just like photo scans, and there's no artist intent there because it's just a photo. It's just like a mega scan. But if you have like, you've chosen deliberately, like the concrete's going to be this color, the line is going to be this thick, like those choices affect the look. That's why this model is starting to look like a drawing, because so much of this, like even the shading for the arm we were just doing and stuff, that's choosing, that's artist intent. That's what that is. And that's what makes it, I think that's where the magic, I think that's where it is. So that's what I've been trying to think about, how to apply that to environments, but without spending like too long. That's the tricky bit. So yeah, regards to the environment stuff, but that's a topic for another time probably. But yeah, I reckon, what's the time? Yeah, I reckon I gotta rest my neck, because I'm starting to feel uncomfortable sitting here. But to recap, I'll show you what we started with and what we got by the end. So I think the model here, I'll move it over to the other side. So on the left, that's what we had. Oh no, Blender, please. No, okay, all right, good. So on this side, this is what we started with, and we're just gonna mainly look at the body, because that's what we were kind of focusing on. I'll try with this light to see what we get. Oh, it's okay. HDRI, don't use HDRI. It's glitchy. We'll just use the good old directional light. So you can see we had a bunch of issues in the middle, which I've sort of fixed there. Just look at the left side mainly. Because remember, the mirror stuff I haven't worked out, but we'll get to. And then we look at, you see, okay, that stuff I did on the arm, you can see that now, right? That's what the arm shadow looked like before. That's how it looks now. Look how smooth. It looks like someone drew it on, because I guess I did in a sense. And then I don't have a before of the leg piece. But yeah, and then yeah, you can see here the knee too. It's kind of like a bit wobbly, and then you look at the knee here, it's smooth, straight down. I don't know if we can look at it from the back as well. Let's have a look. But yeah, you can see here, bit of wobbly shadows on the old. On the new, it's like smooth. It's like the Coca-Cola ribbon. That's the sort of shape we got going on there. So it'll look kind of jank on the other side still, because I don't know what's going on with the mirror modifier, but I'll get to that at the end. And then, yeah, you can see here too, there's still a bit to fix. I do personally like how the shadows look on the back on this version compared to the edited version, because this was, the shapes are broader, but it's snapping a little bit more. So that's something I'll probably look at and play around with. But yeah, then we don't have that weird shadow in the middle of the, oh wait, no. Okay, that's on the mirror, never mind. So ignore the mirror. The mirror's, I'll have to figure out something with that. And then for the hand, remember we did a bit of work on the hand. So if we rotate the light to look at how the hand looks, that's the new hand. And the old hand, it had, yeah, we had all this sort of jagginess going on here, all of that stuff. So if we look at the new hand, it's a lot, it sort of the shadows stay out of the way a lot more. And the fingers, I didn't even have to touch these. These look immaculate. The finger, I mean, they're a pretty simple shape anyway. They're just cylinders, so luckily we don't have to worry too much about that. But yeah, so that's like some of what custom normal editing looks like. So there's still a lot of choice. I'm gonna have to like make a lot of choices on how I want things to work. So I'll work on that throughout the week, and I'm still working hard on devlog 38. Like I said earlier, I've like re-recorded like 4 minutes worth of new lines for it because I wasn't happy with it. But that, I'm trying to get that out real soon because I know you guys have been waiting very patiently for it. But that's coming. We're going to be talking about combat in that one. If you want to see it early, become a member or patron. In fact, I think, yeah, like I think I mentioned, I do have a draft unfinished version uploaded for those supporters as like a token of thanks for waiting so long for it. So if you want to see what it looks like, what I'm not fully happy with it, you can through the members Discord. I've got it uploaded there. But I'm going to be working on that. I'm going to be working on normals. I'm going to also, by next week, I want to try and get it so that the armor is like, you know, on both legs. So I'm going to have to modify some of the topology a little for that. And we'll see how we go. I reckon, I'm not sure if I'll solve the mirror thing by next week, but I at least want to get it where the hair and face and stuff on the one side by next week. I want to make sure that's sort of there. It can take a while though, because some of you might know this Twitter account. I don't know the name of it, but they're like the only other Twitter account I see that posts stuff about this style. And they apparently, for this person, it took them like 2 weeks to do just the face normals. So I'm going to try and be a little quicker, but just to prepare you guys, that's what other people before me, that's how long it took for some of them. So expect that this might be tricky. You know, this might be hard. So hopefully I don't have as much trouble with it, but you never know. You never know. There have been 38 devlogs, says backslash, sorry. Yeah, we're on the one I'm working on right now is the 38th, which is pretty crazy. I think, yeah, I look, because I've got a bit of a better schedule now where I do, like I said, I've got like 5 episodes I'm writing. So I'm trying very hard not to go 6 months at a time without one. So I'm working on one. I uploaded one last month, and I'm gonna see if I can like keep that momentum going, because there's a lot to go over. There's a lot of work to go over, which I haven't shown. But if you want to see the bits first, I have like a bunch of Patreon and members only posts that show a lot of it if you're really curious, and I kind of do some technical breakdowns and stuff. Speaking of which, before I go, in January we're going to be retiring this design from the Patreon, and I'm going to be doing a new one for the next year. So if you want this, I think the higher tier patrons, I think this is just a Patreon thing because YouTube doesn't let me do much, but if you want this specific design on a mug, sticker, shirt, and hoodie, check out Patreon. They're only going to be available for the next 2 months. So if you pledge anytime before the 1st of January, you'll get in on this if you want it. And then a new one will be, we're going to retire that one, and there'll be a new one for the next year. And if you don't want to join the Patreon and want something cheaper, check these stickers out. That's all I've got for everyone else at the moment. We've got the cool stickers, which I don't think I'm going to be retiring these for a while. I'm going to keep those around if you want to check those out. But yeah, that's going to be it for me today, because I really got to go lie down. But I appreciate you coming, watching me do normals. I know it looks weird and strange, but I appreciate you guys showing up anyway and hanging out. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys next week, same time, 12 p.m. UTC.